That worked. Very
Cheers.
nice. And hello to all viewers. As you can see, this is my first live stream, and I'm not alone with it. I've got someone who wants to interview me, Steve Bergevin.
Great.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Um,
This is so where should we get started? How did you first what was your first spark to maybe seeing even the conspiracies even before the actor based reality? What was your first trigger?
my first trigger, I would say it were all these hand signs of the music stars they were doing, and they still are doing, and it's very revealing how what they do with their fingers and so on, and Freemason signs, synthetic signs, and so on, and that's the way I got into it, and because very unnatural gestures, and of course I was on the wrong track, on the wrong track at first, but I knew there is a conspiracy going on. But what we actually should start with, would you present yourself to the audience? Well, this is on my channel, as you know, and I think most of my viewers never heard of you, don't know you. So it would be interesting. How did you in contact with the actor-based reality? I know you're the interviewer, you are the one who asks questions to me, but I think reversely should the other way around so the others get to know you.
Yeah, so most of the information I share is on Facebook, so people can find my link there, Steve Bergevin at hotmail.com, or my profile is there. Um, and then I do have a YouTube channel. But yeah, so the way I found out about actor-based reality, it's interesting. The hand signs was obviously a good tell for me that something was up, but it was actually right when 9/11 happened. My brother, he was reading a lot of books and thinking and analyzing the news. So he said, 9/11's bogus. They're just using this as an excuse for war. So that was when I was, I think, 14, and me and my brother would have these chats, and I started seeing Freemasonry, Knights Templar, and he didn't mention the Big Noser cult as much, but the biblical storyline was rammed at us with the Catholic upbringing. So yeah, that was the aha moment for me right from a young age. And then yeah, I kind of as a young kid, it's beyond me to make these big changes and expose this stuff. But in 2009, I watched, my buddy showed me a documentary, Zeitgeist. That one really,
What for a documentary?
it's
What
called
was the name of
Zeitgeist. That's like the German
Zeitgeist?
word. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh, and that in German, does that mean it's kind of like a paradox, or what is the meaning of that one again?
it means the spirit of a certain epoch. Zeitgeist, the German word Zeitgeist. You know, I am German, and I can tell you, and it refers to a certain spirit of an epoch, when people were living in a certain time. They had a certain commonwealth and a certain spirit, and it's just an overall notion to describe um, Zeitgeist. It means spirit of the time, in literally translation.
Interesting. Yeah. So,
So
that documentary, I was, just a hardworking electrician and getting my ducks in a row to buy a house, but I wanted a farm and to just get out of the city and just do farming, homesteading. But I'm just watching in 2009 and 10, it became unaffordable for me to buy a farmland, and now I'm looking at fucking houses that are 300 to 4 or 500 grand, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I should have never bought that truck. I can't afford this expensive home now. Like, so
okay,
that was kind of my sad wake up reality. And it was actually in 2012, a workmate then pointed out chemtrails. I'd already been, warning everybody about vaccines and all this, but once the chemtrails, and here you can see just chemtrails
Yes.
all behind
Oh,
me.
very revealing. A
They're
lot of
spraying every
chemistry
day.
in the sky.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a tough one. Right away started thinking, a couple of people had told me, you're funny, you should do stand-up comedy. So I started thinking, I could make some jokes about the way that they poison us with the toxic media and all of the poisons in the food and the sky. And so I did start doing, just randomly
You did.
practicing jokes, but it was interesting. Everything think is false, right? Even like the shape of the earth. Maybe now that there's what
Okay.
is it? So that was my first stand-up comedy, just at the amateur stand-up comedy, and so I opened up with flat Earth and just threw the ball at the audience. There was about 40 of them, and it was I thought it was pretty funny,
Mhm.
giving them some ball Earth jokes, but I think it was about halfway through here. So, of Taylor Swift. He thinks they got a dick? Well, they're castratos. This is the Persians, the Greeks, the
Okay.
Romans.
That's difficult to understand through the connection here. Your mobile phone is not loud enough, I think, for that. Okay, but nice to know
So I
that
went
you
it.
used to be that you started as a standard stand-up comedian. I think that really fits very well to the exposure of chemtrails because when I listen to scientists who who explain that it are contrails whose waters is frozen in the air and so on, yeah, I really consider them as comedians.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The persistent contrails, and then it just blocks out the sunshine. So, yeah, it's
Yes,
pretty
yes.
messed up.
Yes, yes. The contrails are attracted by the sun. It's clear, no? It's evident. Okay. So we know who you are now. That's very good. And well, you can start with the interview, I would say.
Sweet. So then, I guess then the aha moment for you with the actor-based reality. What was the first match that you saw?
The first match which really convinced me was Prince Edward playing what was it? Tom Cruise and his wife Sophie of Wessex playing Nicole Kidman. Two famous persons, of course, and it was easy for me to get into that by this match because also the royals behind them are very famous. You already know their faces, and it stunned me when someone showed me that match. It convinced me, and yes, I think that's the main problem. It's the main advantage that the royals have. They hold themselves back from the public, and a lot of people even don't know their faces and their names. And yes, but it was not the case with Prince Edward and his wife, Countess Sophie of Wessex. Everybody knows them, so it was an easy starter for me. And the family relation convinced me because there might be something a coincidental similarity between a royal and a star. But when it gets to the point that a full family of fake identities has similarities to a full noble house, to all the members, and that's um, that the family relations of the noble house are transferred one by one into this fake family of the stars or of the president or whoever, then it cannot be. Then reason says it cannot be any coincidence.
So Prince Edward, though, like this Joker you're talking about,
Uh, Prince
that's the
Edward of Wessex. Is this
oh,
Prince
it's a
Philip? Is
different.
it? It
Oh,
is
that.
not Prince Edward. It is Prince
Oh,
Philip.
oh yeah,
What we
okay.
are showing.
Prince,
You
and
know
this is
Prince Edward.
what I wanted to point out. So, if you search for actor-based reality on Google, you'll get nothing, it's all hidden. This Yandex browser, it's a Russian. You go to Yandex browser and type in actor-based reality, and it shows a lot of what Google, DuckDuckGo, Brave, all of these so-called uncensored browsers. Yandex seems to be the best for actor-based reality and conspiracy research.
Yes.
So,
There
I'll
are
just look at. That's what
what?
I found is when I'm doing my live streams, if I randomly just mention the names, people are too lazy to go look it up. So I often, as soon as a match pops into my mind, I'll pull it up and show the match, and then people can see. I'll just do that. So it's Edward of Wessex.
Wessex. Well, that's difficult to show. I've got matches on my hard drive for that one, but of course, I cannot insert them into this live stream here. Um,
So
so
then that match, and the spouses, that's an important part of it. They often do keep the similar spouse with their different roles, or they'll have like their children posing as one of their
yes,
spouses. It's
yes,
sick.
yes. They are working together with people who they can really trust and that are their own family members. That's how I explain it. Maybe it also has to do with their bloodlines, that they are bound to each other through their bloodlines. Okay.
Yep. And so then the and man, are they clever? Once they put on that bald headpiece or whatever, nobody will recognize it as Tom Cruise or the royal. It seems very common that massive bald headpiece they'll put on, eh?
Yeah.
Looking like Mr. Burns off The Simpsons or whatever.
Yes. Uh, they can
So
allow
then,
themselves to do that. The reason why they can allow themselves to do that is that nobody gets behind the idea that they are actors. And I've also seen videos of Joe Biden where he had certain straps of latex hanging out of his face. You understand what I mean? It was really a mask glitch, I think it would be called in English. And
yeah. Well,
he didn't
and
get any
you can.
trouble.
And you can really
Yeah,
see the Nicole Kidman there. It's going to be tougher for people to see the Tom Cruise. Everybody thinks Tom Cruise is so handsome, and this guy
yes,
looks like a Melvin or whatever. But it's yeah, that's probably with the
yeah.
spouse. I can definitely see it.
They have their way to make themselves up. They have their
And so
special
then,
ways.
some other. I'm curious. Was it? Did you go kind of lone wolf for many years researching, or who was the first kind of actor-based reality researchers maybe you connected with?
The first one was an American woman, and I wouldn't have found it out without her. I have to, yes, I have to confess that. It was not my own work that I stepped on it, but yes, she convinced me by showing sound matches, by showing family relation proofs, and so on and so on. And yes, that was 6 years ago. And I stayed friends with her for 1.5 years. Uh, we had huge disputes, and I made my own group to that topic, and I went my own way. without her, and found some followers, found more followers, and yes, now I have this channel. I've been doing this YouTube channel for 4.5 years now, and also found a lot of new contacts here. But the main engine was Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's how I found you. Was possibly the Royals Exposed? Was it maybe Nicole Mouton ran that group? Are you part
Nicole
of
Mood?
the
No,
uh,
I was shortly in her group. Uh,
yeah,
Also a
yeah, that's what I
person.
saw is the
I
controversy. A lot
know
of her
Nicole
group
Mood.
was opposed to your matches, and then I was just like, oh no, Somni Delius is onto it with and so that's how
Yeah,
I found you was through her group and the nonstop squabbling of
yes.
people saying your matches were no good.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. I also thought that Nicole Mood's matches were not good, but I don't want to talk negatively about others here. So let's just forget that. Now I know how you found me. Interesting. So you've been following me very long, I think.
I think about two
Because
years. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
And so the way I first found out about it was back in 2014. Ed Chiarini I'd found on, and so what was the first match? It might have been the Jimi Hendrix. I stumbled across his channel and was just like, holy shit! And then quite quickly I figured out somebody had pointed out that Ed Chiarini was played by. They called him out as controlled opposition. Some people were saying he was John Travolta. So others were saying, and I wasn't sure about the John Travolta match. Oh, Ed Weiss out of the Flat Earth community. That Ed Weiss sure looks like the Ed Sheerini guy. But then I found there was this guy on RT News, and he has a Middle Eastern facade that he puts on. I'll think of that guy's name, but I started to. Oh, and Avicii Sharon, an Israeli filmmaker. These Israelis are pretty prominent in the playing multiple roles, eh?
okay. I also don't trust Echiarini for 100%. I didn't investigate his face. The problem is that I didn't find any photos of him where he really shows his face. But it doesn't matter to me. Oh, some things he said were right. He exposed that the Kennedy assassination was faked, that John F. Kennedy was the same individual as Jimmy Carter, the latter president. It's unbelievable what they can do. And I think he also exposed, Echiarini also exposed what really admired me is that he exposed Alex Jones as a fake truther, as he also plays the role of Bill Hicks, and the royal behind him is Prince Gustav zu Wittgenstein-Berleburg, a German royal, and that was even exposed by Chiarini, and that really made me stunned because he doesn't just expose other fake identities which are identical with a fake identity. He exposed the original behind it. It's really a secret. Many actor-based reality researchers don't talk about that the originals are European royals. It's my deepest conviction that it is the case. But I there are also some reasons why I don't trust him for 100%.
Yeah, Sharif Nashashibi is the RT News role that I seen Ed Chiarini playing, and that one's the most convincing. And then Ed Weiss of the Flat Earth, a lot of controlled opposition. Any of the bigger ideas, well, all of the conspiracies, the popular channels and the popular truthers on Facebook, they're all part of the big club, which is Freemasonry, the big nosers, and it looks like the European royals might be behind the big nosers and all these never-ending wars in Israel, and the military, the police and Freemasonry and the small town politicians or the smaller city politicians. It's all controlled by those Masons. But on the higher level, I think you're onto it, that these European royals and the
Yes.
Jews, and they're very much related. I mean, you look into Saxe Coburg Gotha and the Windsor family, and I mean they are the Germanic, or the Frenchies got a big Jew nose too, and a lot of these French royals are up to no good too, eh?
Well, my conviction is that a lot of Jews, a lot of public persons who are presented as Jews to us are played by royals. I've shown that for the Rothschilds, I've shown that for David Rockefeller and so on. David Rockefeller's always also called to be a Zionist. Well, it's just their agenda to make us believe that. But okay, and what else did I want to say? Yes, Freemasonry, it is right that you just brought it to the point. Not everyone involved in this conspiracy is a royal or a fake identity played by a royal. There are also some Freemasons. That means that the local, how could I say that, the local police, or like you said, it's the local institutions, not the national institutions, but the local institutions of a certain city and so on. I think they are controlled by Freemasons, like you said. I'm very sure that the police is instructed by Freemasons, and that the head officers of the police are Freemasons themselves. You can see that if there are terror attacks staged, like here in Germany, it happened a lot that we had knife attacks, allegedly Islamistic knife attacks, where foreigners slaughtered German inhabitants. And such incidents were staged. I noticed that when I heard some sentences of, how do you call that? I'm missing the word in English now.
False flag
Eyewitnesses.
attack.
They had eyewitnesses for these terror attacks and so on. It happens here in Germany. And these eyewitnesses run into self-contradictions. They were talking so much shit that it is illogical that you really noticed they are crisis actors. And but when I see that the police officer or the head of the police confirms that there were 3 men murdered on a festival and so on by a Muslim attack, and they are, you know that it is faked, and a police head officer is confirming it. And I also know that they can't be actors played by they can't be fake identities, these police officers, because they are people who are really working at the police, who know these police officers personal, who see these police officers 300 days a year, so to say. And the only solution which solves this problem is that these police officers and
Freemasons.
also judges, yes, they are Freemasons. They are not actors. They are originals. They don't have a changed curriculum vitae or a changed name like these fake identities, but they are in lodges. I believe that they are in Freemason lodges and they get their instructions. But like you said, these lodges are working on a communal level, not on the worldwide level. On the worldwide level, the royals are in control. That's how I see it. And if it wouldn't be such in such a way, you couldn't stage these terror attacks in a certain city, because you have also the police of the city must be under your control somehow, and they cannot play every single local officer.
But
So
I
I think
think
it
that
is right what you said.
I sometimes suspect, though, like with the bigger level false flags, like for instance, Sandy Hook was the Batman movie shooting theater. I'd been following Alex Jones, and I'm like, okay, this Batman movie theater shooting looks fake, but I wasn't certain. And as soon as that Sandy Hook, the school shooting happened, I started looking into it. It looks like that the whole school, the whole town of Sandy Hook, or what is it called, Newtown, Connecticut. The whole town
Mhm.
almost looks like a cookie cutter Freemason. It's like it was all planned for this false flag. So I think in certain bigger production false flags that they will have the police and the paramedic or the coroner office or whatever. These could be professional actors that have been in place to plan out the bigger orchestrated false flags. But for like a little stabbing one here and there, I think that it is more likely they'll just have their stooge police officer that gives a little 1 or 2 minute clip. And so he doesn't need to be a professional actor. But some of these bigger ones, were you familiar with the Sandy Hook the
Mhm.
Sandy Hook, and it looked like Tony Hawk was playing this Robbie Parker father that's crying but then laughing. And it's so when they have these people crying and laughing, I think sometimes they intentionally make it look so fake that it's a way to profile the different levels of people who can see stuff. So if now me, I can see that's fake. And so I start warning on Facebook and telling people they can now profile who is a critical thinker and possibly target them with CIA, fake friends, fake girlfriends, and gang stalking, what they call it, versus and same with 9/11. I mean, they did 9/11 with so many, it seems like intentional things like, aha, they're lying, aha, 2 planes can't take down 3 buildings, and it's like controlled demolitions. So I think what do you think about that?
Well, sorry. So it looks like the connection of Steve Bergevin is down. I'm very sorry. I will try to re-invite him. Please hold the line.